Hello there, and welcome to the Extravaganza 2015 First Timers Orientation Online. We are really glad that you are here. My name is Todd Bugler, and I serve as the director of the ELCA Youth Ministry Network. I want to welcome you to this conversation about extravaganza and such. Um, we've got some goals for our time together today. We want to introduce you to the network and the event. If you haven't been there before, it's entirely possible you might not have a sense of what it is and what's going on and what this is all a part of. We want to help you to begin to feel a part of a community, that the community that gathers at this event every year. We want to let you know what kinds of resources are available for you during the extravaganza and actually before and after as well. Basically, we want you to feel as prepared and confident and excited to come to the event as you possibly can be. We're really excited for it, and we hope you are as well. To make this happen tonight, I got some folks online with us as well. Amy Wagner is the coach for the regional facilitators. We're going to talk more about kind of the network and its structure in a second. But Amy, are you there? Can you hear me okay? Amy, hello?
I can.
Oh,
Yes,
good. There
yes.
you are.
Can
Remember,
you?
it's unmute.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
unmute.
here.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
Got it. And then Ian Hartfield is a regional facilitator from Nebraska. Ian, are you there?
I am. Good evening.
Excellent, excellent. Jamie Travers is a regional facilitator from Region 3. He is not on at the moment. He's actually at a committee meeting at church and was going to try to pop on as soon as the meeting got over. So we'll know if he makes it to the meeting. If he makes it here, the meeting went well. If he doesn't, maybe it didn't go so well. We'll see. In addition to that, Desta Gaynor on the Extravaganza hospitality team is there. Desta, can you hear us?
I can.
Excellent. Awesome. I love it when technology works. And Scott Maxwell Doherty, who is the director of the event, is on with us as well. Scott, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Excellent. Scott and Desta are both in Southern California. Desta works for the. Why do we all laugh when you say that? I don't know. But Desta works for the Southern California Synod, and Scott is one of the campus pastors at California Lutheran University. So as we go here through this process, one of the things we really want to do is encourage questions and opportunities to make sure you get all the information you need. If you'll notice on the right-hand side of your screen, there's that little box. Yours might look slightly different than mine on that screen, but there is a place in there to type questions. And I think if you punch on the questions, you can type it in there. That will pop up on our screen, and then we'll try to make sure as we go that we answer any and all of the questions that you might have about the extravaganza and the event in general and all that kind of stuff. So please feel free to ask your questions. We want to make sure we get everything answered as much as we can. So there we go. Let's jump into the conversation, and we want to start off just a little bit about kind of the network and who puts this on and why it gets put on and how it goes and all that kind of stuff. In a nutshell, I'm just going to quick tell the story of it, I guess. In a nutshell, there was a group of folks that were gathering at a youth specialties conference years ago, and the question kind of got asked, why aren't there more Lutherans here doing continuing education in children, youth, and family ministry? There's only a few people that were there at this large interdenominational event. And so that started kind of triggered a question about what can we do to kind of get more folks from our particular brand of Lutheranism into doing good quality continuing education. Conversations took place about what that might look like. And then we realized that actually those same conversations were happening in other places all over the country in kind of these clusters. And so the goal then became to kind of pull all these clusters together into one place and to do continuing education and networking together. And so we gathered actually at the next year at a youth specialties convention. We gathered a day or two before. We had about 100 people there and started this conversation about what this might look like if we all kind of working together, working in the same direction. And so we did that for a couple of years. We kind of gathered. It was good. It was fun. We liked it a lot. And then people began to tell us, well, it's great, but we have a hard time affording coming to the youth specialties convention. It's kind of expensive. And And so we said, well, maybe we need to do our own event. And so what we needed to do it inexpensively. So we looked for cheap airfare and cheap hotel and cheap food and what can we do to kind of make this? Wow, someone's typing really loudly. The What can we do to make this as affordable as possible? And the answer came back, let's go to Vegas. So the first extravaganza happened in 1997 in Las Vegas. It was awesome. All the musicians came for free. The speakers spoke for free. The workshop leaders did their deal for free. The program was about as cheap as you can get. It was, but it was good, and it was good conversation. We had about 250 people there, and that was the first extravaganza. Out of that conversation there came the realization that it's not just an event that we need, it's really a network and a way of supporting each other in ministry. So then we moved towards creating an organization, the network, which has been in existence since 1997 and has grown to now over 1,000 people that are a part of that, children, youth, and family ministers around the ELCA that are working in faith formation. They love kids, they love Jesus, they want to see people of all ages grow in their faith. And so we work together to try to figure out how to do that. The network itself has a mission statement. We exist to strengthen and empower adult youth ministry leaders, in service to Christ. We have a vision as well. We envision a future where ministry in the church, with children, youth, and family, flourishes and becomes stronger through renewal, education, and connection. That's our goal. So everything the network does is kind of built around at least one of those three words: spiritual renewal, tending to the heart and the faith of the person in leadership. Great continuing education, trying to bring the newest and the best resources in front of folks, and then opportunities to connect together. We have values that we think are important as well. We strive to be faithful witnesses of the Christian gospel, and we value faith formation for youth and adults as key to our growth and relationship with Christ. We value all leaders, whether they're rostered or not, pastored or lay, volunteers, professionals, whatever it might be. We believe in healthy, supportive network ministries. We believe that there is a spirit of diversity, both in terms of cultural and spirituality within our communities, and we seek to welcome all. We believe in professional relationships. We value our partnership with the church-wide offices, the denomination itself. We work in close partnership. We're separate from the ELCA. We're a standalone 501c3 organization, but we work really in close partnership with the ELCA. And everything we do, we try to make sure is informed by our biblical and theological wisdom, which we believe is a gift from God. How this whole thing happens and gets led, there's 9 regions in the ELCA, so we're kind of organized that way as well. There's a board of directors, 7 people that kind of oversee the network and its vision and its mission. Then there are 9 regional facilitators plus regional facilitator coach, 1 from each of the ELCA regions. You can kind of see them listed or shown on that map. They form a team as well, and they're kind of primary communicators and liaisons and networkers within their regions. And then in addition to that, there's probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 other teams as well. There's a team that works on the journal, the Connect journal that we do. There's a team that works on Third Tuesday conversations. There's a communications team. There is just a whole bunch of groups that work on specialized areas of ministry that the network kind of functions in. And then there's the Extravaganza team, which is a group that plans this event that you are going to be a part of in just a couple of weeks. Just a quick word about the regional facilitators, because those will be your primary contacts when you're at the event. Each region has one, and these are the names. And when you come on Friday night, there will be a first-timers orientation with a tour. They'll kind of walk you around the event, show you where everything is, get a chance to meet people. It'll be your regional facilitator that kind of leads that tour. So we're excited for that. So that's a little bit on the history and such of the event and how we got to be what it is. I'm going to pass it off to Ian, who's going to talk through some of the details for the event itself. Ian, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. Thanks, Todd. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be with you and As Todd said, I serve as regional facilitator for Region 4, and I also serve on the staff at Kuntz Memorial Lutheran Church in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I'm excited to be with you tonight and welcome you to the Extravaganza and share a little bit more about that with you. So I can say from, I think this will be my 4th Extravaganza. It's a transformational event. Whether you come from an urban background, a suburban background, a rural background, if you're a volunteer or a paid professional, it is an extraordinary event to help you grow in your ministry and your skills and working with young people and helping them grow in their faith. And so the Extravaganza, it's for all. It's for all who share in that adventure that we call Children, Youth, and Family Ministry. So I hope you're excited to join us. So Todd, you want to flip for me? Thank you. And as Todd said, the first year we met in Las Vegas in 1997, and so this will be the 19th year for the Extravaganza in Detroit. So we've had a lot of fun over the years at the different venues, and Detroit will be a great place. So the Extravaganza, it builds off of, as Todd said, our mission statement of renewal, education, and connection. And so the Extravaganza really is about church. It's where we'll gather around word and sacrament at the table for worship every day together. And there will be a large number of inspiring preachers and speakers, and where they'll share meaningful stories of faith and ministry and how faith has shaped their lives and share those with us. And Extravaganza is where we'll experience the love and grace of God, of course. And as you know, for many of us in ministry who are really tending to the faith journeys of others, these experiences really don't come around long enough, or often enough, excuse me. And so it's a great time to center around the Word and at the table together. So the Extravaganza is about education, and we bring together really the best and brightest, in teaching in the workshops and those opportunities for learning, and they're really designed around 2 primary venues. First is a large group sessions where we will hear from a keynote speaker who really will challenge and enlighten us in their ministry and how we might use those gifts for others in our ministries. And the large group sessions really are less about the tactics of youth and family ministry and really more about the heart of the person experiencing or sharing in that ministry. And so the second piece of the education part is the workshop sessions. And that really gets down to the nuts and bolts of youth ministry and where you can build your skills and share ideas and see what's working in other places, similar and different than maybe the environment you're currently serving in. And so there'll be lots of takeaways from those workshop sessions that you can use right away in your ministry setting. There'll also be some exhibitors that you can visit in the exhibit hall, and we'll show you where those will be here in a minute. And there'll be plenty of information about products and things you can use in your ministries, camps, and those sorts of things. So Extravaganza is about connection. It really is an opportunity to not be alone. It's a dynamic, vibrant community of colleagues who share the same struggles that we do, and the joys that we do on a daily basis. So I think some of the most powerful moments at the Extravaganza really happen outside the formal large group sessions, kind of in the lounge areas or the restaurants and places of the hotel where people just casually gather for conversation, caring conversation, and fellowship. And to be able to sit down with someone who's in an experience like you or different than you is a great opportunity to ask, what works for you and what brings you joy and what are some ideas and that kind of thing. So that's a really important piece of Extravaganza. So a little bit about the hotel. Todd, I guess maybe would you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can do that. Um, the Marriott Renaissance Center is this fabulous facility. We're really excited about it. It's huge. It's probably, I think I read someplace that um, just in terms of overall size of the facility, it's one of the largest hotels in the Western Hemisphere. It stands 70 stories tall. It's right on the river with a view across the river to Windsor, Canada. It's right in the heart of downtown Detroit, so it's a fun place to be. There's lots of nightlife and activities, and it's a very kind of buzzing, uh, fun part of town. Just a short walk, probably 4 or 5 blocks, I think, to Ford Field, and probably a little shorter walk, maybe even just 3 or 4 blocks down to Cobo Center, which is the convention center where a lot of the events for the senior high, I'm sorry, the ELCA youth gathering in the summer is going to be. I know a lot of folks come to kind of get a chance to check out those facilities as well. The Marriott Renaissance Center. It's this cool building. It's kind of it's a round. Visualize just a big round tower in the center with 4 smaller towers around it. It shares the facility with GM World Headquarters, so it's just this huge, huge place, and it's lots of activity, really busy, really a fun place to be. It's actually, and because it shares with GM, you can walk into the hotel lobby and you can actually buy a car in the hotel lobby if you want. They have them all on display right there. It's crazy. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's really fun. Um, so anyway, um, lots of shopping, restaurants, entertainment, all that kind of stuff. It's a great place for the extravaganza to be. We're very excited about it. The way it works is you actually the picture you have here is level 4, which is where a lot of our activity is going to be. Kind of street level is level 1, and that you walk into what's called the motor lobby. That's where you get out of the car or the cab or whatever method you're taking to get from the airport to downtown. You go up 1 level to the main lobby. That's on level 2. That's where you check in, and then you'll walk into the center of this circular building right here and either take a series of escalators off of one of these ends or elevators here in the center. And you can go up to level 4, which is again going to be kind of the heart of where the extravaganza is going to be. The Renaissance Ballroom um, is a massive space, twice as large as any ballroom we've been in before. We're excited about that. Lots of possibilities and options for us. And That's where all the general sessions are going to be for the extravaganza. Outside the ballroom, in this kind of connecting space, will be our registration check-in desk and our hospitality desk as well. Dustin, do you want to maybe talk just a little bit about hospitality and kind of how that plays in and connects at the event?
Sure. We have a team of about 12 people this year that are surfing on the hospitality team, and their job is to welcome you, help you connect to other people and events and different parts of the extravaganza. We will be there on Thursday and Friday as you come to the hotel, and we'll be wearing different shirts. It'll be easy to identify us. And then at the hospitality table, we have all sorts of information. So that is the place that you'll want to come at least once and meet us, and we'll want to meet you. We have information on workshops, updated information. We have information on spiritual directors and the massages that are possible, different things. Almost any question that you might have around the extravaganza, if you walk up to the hospitality table, somebody there will be able to get you the answer or find you the answer. We have some free snacks and gum, and it's really fun people, and it ends up being a fun place for people to hang out. So we hope you'll come and use us.
They're great folks. It's a great place to go and just check things out. And then, kind of in that same vicinity, will be where registration actually happens for the event. And Debbie and Lori and Kaya and a couple other folks will be working the registration table, and they'll be anxious to welcome you as well. Outside that, in this, there's, like I said, the kind of this main building is this circle, and this whole half of the circle is where our exhibit area is going to be. It's a really large space. We're excited for that. I think I heard this as of this morning, I think we're up to something like 70 or 71 exhibitors who will be at the event. And by exhibitors, we're talking about resource providers. So everybody from Vibrant Faith to ELCA and Adult Ministries to outdoor, a lot of the outdoor ministries in the ELCA to Wheat Ridge and Portico and Thrivent, and you can go down this list of folks that are there who all have resources and things to help you in your ministry. Some things that you'll be able to just pick up and grab and go, and make use of other pieces that there are things that they're making available, they're wanting to promote, they're selling, or whatever it would be. But either way, there's good resources. So we want to make sure that you have all that stuff in front of you. So we're very grateful to our exhibitors for coming and for being a part of the event. The event itself. So on this level 4, that is kind of what happens there. Both level 5 above and level 3 below, we're really just making use of that circle area, and there will be workshops. So visualize this circle, but there's these kind of workshop rooms all the way around the perimeter, and that's where we will largely be. There'll be a couple other spaces in the hotel we're using as well, but we'll walk through those when we do that little first timers tour on Friday night. So really levels 3, 4, and 5 are where the bulk of the extravaganza are going to take place. Ian, what you're going to talk about ground transportation?
Sure. Yeah. So some of the possibilities to get you from the airport, if you're coming in that way, to the hotel are on the screen here. Most of this is listed on the ELCA Youth Ministry Network website, and the easiest way, one of the easiest ways, would be to take the shuttle. Excuse me. Which is $43 round trip per person. They do offer a discount for online phone reservations, and the information is there, but also on the Youth Ministry Network, so you can find that there. There's also some town car options, and of course the taxi option, which I think is around $60. Is that right, Todd?
I think that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, for a trip from the airport. So if you're coming in that way, those would be your best options to check out. And then if you are driving, there's some options for you at the hotel as well to park on site. There's some hourly and daily rates of $5 and $25 respectively. And then there's a valet parking fee as well. And then there's some off-site parking available. And I believe, based on one of the questions we had in the last webinar, that is very nearby. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think within 1 to 3 blocks are where some of those off-site parking places are. It's pretty close by.
Yeah, very very easy to use. So those would be your parking options if you're driving into the extravaganza. So, and those are available. That information is available on the Marriott Renaissance Hotel's website. So a lot of times, new folks ask what to do when you arrive, and first thing I would suggest is checking out the registration table, and that's where you can pick up all your registration information, welcome packet. That'll have your schedule and for the workshops and the different receptions and activities that are happening, and when the worship opportunities are at Extravaganza. It'll be all included in there, and that's where you'll also pick up your T-shirt, right, Todd? If you've ordered one. So, and then there'll be some other various information there as well. And then I would suggest just checking out the exhibit hall and seeing what exhibitors are there, and picking up some information to take back with you. And then there's, Todd, how many workshops do we have this year?
I think it's over 60.
So yeah, and often they are repeated throughout the weekend, and but be sure to check that out in your welcome packet and kind of make notes on which ones you'd like to participate in. So and then like Todd alluded to earlier, we have the first timers tour that the regional facilitators and like myself will be leading that I think Friday night, and then there'll be some regional receptions throughout the time together. Or no, those are Friday night too. Is that right, Todd?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe so. Yeah, there. I was thinking of some of the other receptions that different ministries will be hosting. There will be some of those, I believe, throughout the weekend as well. So, and if you're like me, I like to sleep in, so taking a nap would be good too, or catching up with friends you haven't seen for a while. So, hospitality table. I'll give you a shout out, Desta. Be sure to stop by there as well and check out what's happening. There'll be some other activities going on that will be. Sign-ups are at the hospitality table, Desta.
Yep.
So
Yep.
great.
When in
So
doubt,
just
go to the hospitality table.
go to the hospitality booth. Yep. One of the things I want to
Exactly.
touch on. One of the things I want to touch on and remind folks about is the network app that is available to download for iPhone and Android that has the schedule on there and all the information about the extravaganza as well. So be sure to get that and I alluded to a lot of these others before. So there'll be some lunch gatherings throughout the weekend too for various synods and groups. So check the schedule for that. Those are wonderful to attend as well. So.
Hmm. Awesome. Yeah, before we jump into the other stuff, too, I want to pull Scott into the conversation and then um, maybe go at some of these questions that we've had a couple of questions popping in for the event too. Scott, you are the director of the event. You're the one who leads the E team. A lot of the stuff that comes out of this comes out of your head, which is awesome. So in your role, I mean, what would you want to tell someone who is new to an event like this?
Thanks, Todd, for the introduction. Welcome to all of you who are planning on attending. Let me begin with the following thought. We know this is not a cheap event. You wouldn't want to show up to a cheap event. And so we're not planning a cheap event. We're planning an event that has you in sharp focus. We've got a set of really qualified volunteers who have been at the planning of this event for an entire year, pulling together all sorts of information, resources, quality people, opportunities for you to share, network, wonder, imagine, rest, food for your soul, as well as food for your relationships. So coming to an event like this, we recognize that you've got skin in the game, and so we want to make sure that you have a grand experience. Every time the planning teams meet, they start to highlight who's coming. How does this event that we're planning at this particular moment at 3:30 in the afternoon, what does it matter to a newbie that's showing up to this event? We ask those kinds of questions so that we keep in mind who's in the room, why they've shown up, and what are their potential takeaways. I've been attending these for an awful long time, and while this is going to sound remarkably proud, I can tell you this: they keep getting better and better and better because they go deeper and deeper and deeper. So welcome to the Extravaganza. My prayer for you is that your travel will be easy and your event will be spectacular.
Thank you. Awesome. Let's take a look at some of the questions folks ask. David Shader is wondering if his question is hopefully simple. Can you please go to the previous slide? Well, I don't really know when you asked the question, David, so I'm assuming the slide ahead of this one. So let's see here. How do I get this? Nope, that doesn't work. There we go. Is that the slide? Tell me what, if that's the slide you want, just type the word yes, and so I know that. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going backwards. In the meantime, let's see here. Next question. Let's see here. This will be a question I think Desta you might be able to answer. Tim in Fremont, California asks, Key question: how much is a cup of coffee in the restaurant for dinner? $2.50 more? What is that? What does a cup of coffee cost?
Tim in Fremont, there's a Starbucks in the hotel. I don't know how much, so those are going to be the normal prices. I'm not sure how much coffee costs in the restaurant, but I will find out and I will tweet it out tonight.
Excellent, excellent. Because we know Tim, and we know Tim cares about his coffee, so that's a good thing. Debbie is wondering. She says, I paid for an intensive care course before realizing my flights doesn't get me there in time for the Thursday session. Assuming I can attend the Friday session, without having attended the Thursday session. She's going to the youth gathering, having a great youth gathering session. Generally, that's a great question, and I'm going to assume, Debbie, that yep, I think the gathering one in particular, you have the ability to probably drop in late for that. But here's the other thing I would do: it might be worth just connecting with the people leading that intensive care, who are Danica Olson and Kristen Baltram, who are great. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to be a great intensive care. And if you want to just shoot me an email, I can forward that on to them, and they can get back to you for sure. I don't expect that to be a problem, but it'd be good just to double check with the folks who are actually teaching the course. So shoot me an email. It's Todd, T-O-D-D, at elcaymnet.org. I will forward that on to them. I just don't have their emails handy in front of me. Otherwise, I just give it to you. But I'll forward it to them, and they can get back to you. And I'd be glad to do that. I suspect it won't be a problem, but that'd be good just to double check. Then Jerry asks, what about parking for those of us driving in? Yep, I think we talked about that. You might have asked the question before we talked about it. There is parking available at the hotel. There is pay for and area parking as well. There's also information on the hotel website about that. The next question is, Nikki is wondering, are the workshop schedules available beforehand, or do we plan for them when we get there? Our goal is to have the workshop schedules published on the website. Our goal, actually, I'd hoped we'd be able to have that all put together and out by now, but we want to try to get that done as soon as possible. I would look for that hopefully early part of next week. I think, actually, maybe by, excuse me, by the end of this week. I'll add, excuse me, I'm coughing, sorry. I will send a note to the workshop folks and just ask if we can ask where they're at in that process. But our goal is to have it out before, so you can plan ahead. Thanks for asking. And then, another question from Nikki. Is it okay to bring laptops to take notes during workshops? Yes, it will be. As a matter of fact, we should also, we are working with the hotel right now. We expect to have Wi-Fi available for free in those public spaces and the workshop spaces as well. So you'll be able to access the internet in those areas. But yes, please feel free to bring laptops. Laura asks, can we register if we're coming in on Wednesday for intensive courses? So I'm assuming you mean, can you still register for an intensive course? Yes, I think you can. What I would do, if you need to add that to an existing registration, is probably send a note to our registrar, Lori Hoyam, who's great and will love to help you out with that. Her email address is just registrar@elcaymnet.org, and she'll be able to take care of that and get that added. So let's see. Looking again at the question, lunch is on our own. Dessa, this might be another great question for you with hospitality. The meals that are on our own, are there places in the building to eat, or where do we go?
Yeah, underneath the hotel at the very bottom is it's just a huge food court filled with everything from Starbucks or from, McDonald's and Subway and Presto gourmet delis and pizza and mac and cheese and seafood, everything. I'm tweeting out a list of the restaurants right now so that you can see that if you want. It's you might not have to leave the hotel if you didn't want to, because it's such a great setup. But there are also some great restaurants outside the hotel too that we'll have suggestions for at the hospitality table.
Awesome. Jerry wonders, what is the morning fit on the schedule? Any of you guys want to tackle that? I have not been to it or been around it or seen it in the past, so I'm not sure if I can adequately describe it.
Morning Fit is run by Charlie Roberts, and Morning Fit really is for those individuals that need a group of people to work out of their body whatever they put into their body the day before. So it's an exercise time, and Charlie, along with his other job, is a personal trainer, and so Charlie does a great job of running an exercise time.
Awesome.
And I would like to say I've gone the last couple of years. This is Amy, and it's been really great. It's for every fitness level, so don't be intimidated if maybe and anybody can get a workout. So even if you feel like you're really fit, it's for you. Even if you feel like you are not, super fit, it's for you. So it's for all fitness levels. So don't be intimidated by it.
And people love it. Like they come up to the hospitality table and they're like, when is the next morning fit? So the people that are into that, they're all over it. It's really been cool.
Excellent. Good. And then Laura sent a clarifying question. She was actually meant, will the registration and hospitality tables be up on Wednesday and Thursday, or do we have to wait until Friday to check in? I know that the registration table will be up on Thursday because the the intensive care courses, people will be checking in for that, so folks can check in on Thursday, although that is not necessarily all day. I think it might be in the morning because the intensive care start at 1 o'clock, so after that there wouldn't be no more of those folks to check in. However, it'll be open Thursday morning and then early on Friday morning as well. I don't believe that check-in will be available on Wednesday. We'll still just be setting all that stuff up. Dustin, do you have any sense of the hospitality tables, when those will be up and running?
Yep, those will be up and running on Saturday morning, but the hospitality team will be around all day Thursday and Friday, so we're accessible. All you have to do is ask somebody near you, where is somebody on hospitality, and we'll be very close to you.
Awesome. Good deal. And Laura says, thank you. You're welcome. Let's just jump ahead. I'm going to hand it back to you, Ian. And if you have still other questions, please feel free to type those in and we'll handle those. Actually, one just came in. When can we check in at the registration desk on Friday? I believe the registration desk opens on Friday. Golly, it might be 9 a.m. or by 10 at the latest, but I think it might be 9 a.m. If you go to the event schedule, which I don't have in front of me because it would.
I have it. It says 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay.
Yep. 10
a.m. on Friday morning is when registration will open, and odds are it might even be open and running a little bit before then too. But that's what we're looking at. Go ahead, Ian.
Sure. I just forgot to mention earlier in talking about sort of the renewal part of Extravaganza is all the wonderful musicians that will be with us on hand. And Agape and Rachel Kurtz are pictured there, but we've also got Chris Clay and Lost and Found who will be with us and leading our worship times when we're all together. So a great group of musicians and ministry worship leaders. So we've also got a great list of guest speakers and preachers from around the country, and those are all listed again, as well as the musicians on the Extravaganza website. And I can say I'm really excited that the presiding bishop of the ELCA, Elizabeth Eaton, will be with us during our time at the E. So not to be missed, but for sure. So, and as Destin talked about, and others, is a lot of self-care opportunities. Is there some other options in addition to the morning fit, Desta or Todd, that you could share or at this point?
We do have signups for spiritual direction. Have I talked about that on this call?
No, you have not.
I don't think so.
Okay. All of my different areas are getting mixed up here. We have two spiritual directors, Bill and Carolyn Keys, and they have come to the Extravaganza for the past many years in their role as spiritual directors. We just posted the information today on the Extravaganza Facebook event. There's a link to where people can go and sign up, and we really do that because we think that it's so important when people in ministry come together to have a chance to fill yourself up. And if you're not familiar with spiritual direction, Their email addresses are there, and you can connect with them and ask them some questions about what that might look like. You're also free to reach out to me. I am also a spiritual director, so I could help answer some of those questions. But the people that have done this have really been richly blessed, and they come back every year and hope to connect with Bill and Carolyn again. So that is in a separate hotel room where you just go meet with them one-on-one. They only charge $25. And it's an hour session with them, and it's just time for you to be in a safe place where you can share your thoughts and feelings about life and ministry and God, and they will just help hold that sacred space for you.
We'll put a link to it. I didn't realize that link had gone live on Facebook, so we'll put a link off the main event page as well on the website.
I just sent you a draft email. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks.
And maybe I'm mistaken, but I think there's also some sightseeing opportunities as well that are being organized. Is that right, guys?
Yes, there. Excuse me. Sorry. There's a gathering pre-tour that's happening. We're working with the ELCA staff and folks to help put that together. If someone is signed up for the intensive care course on Thursday, Friday, there is a tour that is a part of that course. It's built into that, so that's already taken care of. But then we also wanted to make a tour like that available to the general public, which I think is happening on, if I recall, Saturday afternoon. Might be Sunday afternoon, but again, if you look at the schedule, you'd have that in front of you. You'd be able to see that. And that's an opportunity to go, I believe, to Cobo Center, to Ford Field, kind of figure out the lay of the land for downtown Detroit, where the kind of the major things are, and then I think do a little bit of kind of hearing the story about Detroit and why we're there and kind of what our goals are being there, so that when you go back to your congregations, you can help interpret that with young people and their families as well, so they get what's going on. There's a small fee. I think I know we stopped taking pre-registrations for the event. I think like 130 registrants for the tour on Saturday, and there are still a small number of spaces that would be available for kind of first come first serve walk up on Saturday at this point, and I think the cost is $15 then to take the to do the tour walk up on Saturday like that. And you could just stop and check. We'll have information. We'll make sure that information on that is at the hospitality table as well, so that they can answer any questions that folks might have.
Todd, you want to click to the next one? Yeah. So I think Todd told me earlier that we are over 1,000. Is that right, for attendees for the E this year?
I looked at the beginning of the webinar. We're at 1,017.
Wonderful. And so that is by far the highest number we've had. So there will be plenty of opportunity for caring conversations about ministry and faith and the church and all those things that we all care about so much as in our work and ministries. And so be sure to find opportunities for that. And Todd likes to say that the Extravaganza and the network always like to find places that hotels to host the E that have great areas to hang out and relax and sit and chat, and lounge areas and things like that. So the Renaissance Hotel is no different. So and also the workshops, I was honored enough to teach one last year, or lead one last year, and they're just a wonderful opportunity for folks and leaders in the church and beyond to share what's worked for them and new ideas, and then for those attending the workshops to take those ideas and things back to their home congregations and their ministry settings and utilize. So those are not to be missed, and so I just lift those up again to you. And then as a regional facilitator, I really want to extend an invitation to all of you to be sure to attend the regional gatherings. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with those nearest you in the church and around the country in ministry, and to share ideas and connect with those with our peers. So be sure to check the regional gatherings out. There's usually lots of fun and games and giveaways and different things like that. And Desta did you want to share a little bit about the Theology Pub, or Todd, or someone, I guess?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. There's actually two things. There is a theology pub, and that is being hosted by Raleigh Martinson. And that is just a time you can grab a drink. We'll have appetizers. It's at this really cool room in the hotel with all these glass windows with a great view. And it'll just be a time for conversation about life and faith. It's just a time to relax and have some conversation with friends and strangers and get to know people and be able to share some of the things you're struggling with or wondering about, be able to hear different people's viewpoints and just have some really good conversation. And the goal is that that would be a time for you to nurture the intrigue in your life around your faith, but also that it's a take-home piece, because then it's something that you could model with your church or youth group as a possible way to have conversation with them. So we love that, and that's always, every year it's growing. This will be our third year, and it's growing. There's a lot of people that come. It's really cool. Then the Cranberry Jam is on Saturday night, and we call that the Cranberry Jam because it's a good old-fashioned hymn sing, and we sing hymns from the Cranberry Hymnal. And this year Rachel Kurtz is going to be hosting that with us. She will be playing her guitar and singing. And we will be gathering people's suggestions and favorite hymns on Facebook and Twitter in the next couple of weeks. And you show up there and we just sing. And it was a powerful experience last year. It was our first time. And it was really worship and fellowship all in the same place. So those are things you can look forward to also.
Thanks, Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
I think Todd, did we already mention the Gathering Bus Tour? I think we did.
Yep, we talked about that.
So that's really all I had. So
Excellent. We had one more question pop in. A question: I'm traveling into town myself. My husband's concerned about the area I'm traveling through or into. Do you feel like it's pretty safe? Yes, I do think it's safe. I've been in that area. I've walked around that part of town myself. It's kind of your typical downtown thriving area with lots of restaurants and things like that. It's like any other city. You need to use obviously common sense and caution, and like you would in Minneapolis or Des Moines or Chicago or wherever you go. But I'm not any more concerned about being there than I would be in being in any of those other places. The other piece is there will be an email going out as well to all the participants. Actually, probably a couple of them now in these couple of weeks before the event, and one of those as well will have actually my cell phone on it as well. If people run into problems or glitches while traveling, need some assistance, need some help, don't hesitate to call, and we'll see what we can do to assist people and help them get to where they need to be. We're glad to try to help. So we're excited for that. Let's see. Someone just said, didn't pre-register for the tour for the gathering. Hope more spots open up. Yep, and you can check in at the registration desk as well and kind of see. I think Lori is the one kind of keeping that list going. You can check and see kind of where they're at. And we're going to try to make sure we get everybody who wants to go to be able to be a part of that. We just have to know in advance in terms of number of buses. That's our problem. There's kind of a financial piece of that. That's why we needed to kind of cut that off at the 3 buses on Saturday. That's all we have for the webinar. Let me just say this as well, an invitation that if you have other questions, please do not hesitate to ask. You can email us. You can actually send me an email if you want. It's Todd, again, TODD @elcaymnet.org. And I will likely forward that on to someone else who can more accurately answer your question. But if I can answer it as well, I certainly will. And we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can if you have questions. Otherwise, a lot of the information is available on the network's website. The schedule, the workshop listings, the information on airport travel, the spiritual direction pieces, all those things. It's actually quite a bit of information on there. Speakers, musicians, the whole deal. So we're we're glad to that information is there. Check that out. The other things you can do, we will be tweeting. Desta's been tweeting. I think she's kind of our social media maven, and through this call, and we will be to the event with the hashtag EXT15. The other piece is we've got Phil, who's sort of, I don't know, kind of a part of the event in some ways, and you can hashtag a question with Ask Phil, and we'll try to get those questions to you as well. And that'll become more clear to you as you get into the event itself. So he's sort of a mascot. Anyway, so hashtag EXT15, or if you have questions, hashtag Ask Phil, or shoot me an email. We want to make sure you have a great experience and a good extravaganza. This is about gathering together because of our faith in Jesus Christ, because of our love for working with children, youth, and families, because of our desire that all of God's people grow in their faith, and we want to be as effective as we can in working with the folks we work with. So we gather together for renewal, for education, and for connection. Thank you so much for being with us. This webinar has been recorded as well. We will post it online, and we'll link that on the Facebook page, the event Facebook page. It'll also be available on the network app. You can watch the video there as well. So if there's other folks that are coming and they don't have they weren't able to be here on this webinar, you can point them towards those recordings, and they can watch it and see what was going on.